Hello, this is John Fonstock, and I'm going to talk about shape tweening using Flash. Let's take a look at the finished example. What I've got is an image of an eagle shape tweening into an image of a sea turtle using the shape tween feature. So it's kind of morphing between one image to the other. Before you get excited about this feature, there are some caveats with its use. So the first thing you should note is that these are just silhouettes, very simplified shapes. So if you plan on, or if you're thinking about, oh, I can shape tween an intricate image of a car into an intricate image of a cheetah, you really can't do that. You're really limited to simplified shapes, silhouettes, things like that. You shouldn't use strokes. That's another caveat, and you want to think really simplified. I can't emphasize that enough. So take a look at the file here and the shapes I'm tweening. So I've got this image of the sea turtle and this image of the eagle. Notice that they're in the same orientation. I've got four limbs basically, a head, and they're in that same orientation. If they're in drastically different orientations, it's going to be more difficult, if not impossible, to make a good looking shape tween. So you want to think ahead when it comes to this feature. I want to put this into a symbol just so I can contain that animation and manipulate it, transform it, put it wherever I want to, and not have to worry about reanimating anything. Just keep in mind that I'm not creating a movie clip or a graphic out of these two individually. I'm going to put them both. So I want to select them both, and I'm going to press F8, and this time I'm going to make it into a movie clip. Name it Shape Tween. Alright, next I'm going to click inside that symbol, and I should get both of those shapes. Normally the rule is that you should only tween symbols, but this is the exception to the rule. So if I want to shape tween these two shapes, they should not be symbols, they shouldn't be grouped, they should just be shapes. So I click them once and you should see all these fuzzy dots here. So that indicates that those are shapes. Another common rule is that anything being animated should be on its own layer by itself. Well, in this case they need to be on the same layer. So let's go ahead and get these set up. Alright, I'm going to start with the eagle. Just put that in place. You don't want to cross these. If you cross these, then it'll mess up the shape. So if I do that and click it again, it's going to fuse those. So watch out for that. Just undo if you do something like that. So I'm going to put the eagle here, and then I'm just going to cut this Apple X. Cut the turtle for a second. So I want this to last for a few frames, so I'm going to press F5. And then I'm going to press F6 to indicate that I want that to change. Then I'm going to go over here to frame 25, and instead of pressing F6, I'm going to press F7. It's going to give me a blank keyframe, and it's going to give me a blank space to paste my turtle. So I've got my eagle here lasting, I've got my eagle starting that, and then want to tween to the turtle. And then I'll extend this out a few frames so it'll last a little longer for the turtle. So eagle, and then we start a keyframe, and then we start a blank keyframe to turtle. So we're wanting to change from the eagle to the turtle. This all needs to be on the same layer. It shouldn't be symbols themselves. They shouldn't be grouped. They should just be shapes. Alright, now it's time to set up the shape tween. Pretty simple. Once you've got the keyframe set up, the image that you're starting from to the image that you're ending with in keyframes, you just right click or control click, or you can go up to insert, and you want to choose shape tween this time. So let's take a look at now at this point it looks a little junky. You can see that things aren't crossing. Flash is just making some assumptions here. It doesn't know that these are heads. Notice the head is kind of tweening to the fin there. So we need to let Flash know, hey, this is a head, this is a fin. or we need to indicate, where we want those shapes to tween to. Okay? Okay, so once that's set up, you can let Flash know or indicate or control this shape tween to a degree with using something called shape hints. So you need to click on the keyframe, and it always starts at the beginning. You can't add them at the end of the tween, only at the beginning of the tween. So you're going to click on the keyframe, and then up in the Modify section, Shape, add shape hints, or Shift Command H. So notice that gave us a little A here. So let's go ahead and indicate the head. I'll put that right on the head there of the bird. And then we'll go to the next section with the turtle, and there's that A again. We're going to move it, so we're letting Flash know, hey, these 2 points are similar, so I want you to use that as a reference. So notice that's kind of making worse of it. So it's a little confused. So let's add a few more. Let's add 2 to the back here to indicate, to tell Flash that, hey, I want these 2 to tween from the tail to the feet. So I'm going to add 2 shape hints. So they're lettered. There's C and there's B. And you want to make sure those are in the same orientation. So C would go on this one, and B would go there. There's a little snap to kind of snap to the shape. So that's working a lot better. So we let Flash know that here's the top and here's the right and here's the left, and this is how I want you to tween that. So notice those 2 areas are tweening pretty nicely. If you look at the wings to the fins, it looks a little junky. Things are kind of crossing over. So we can use some more shape hints to fix that. So let's kind of zoom in on the feathers here. Too much zoom. And notice there's some kind of junkiness happening there. So let's add a couple more shape hints, or just let's do them one at a time. So modify shape, add shape hint. So let's start with that. So let's indicate that that's this part. So that looks a little better, a little smoother. Let's add one more. I'm going to put it right in that transition section, and try to get it in that transition section of the turtle. So that's looking pretty good. And if you want it to look even smoother, you can try to add some more shape hints. Sometimes you add so many it gets a little confused, and you have to start removing them, rearranging them, etc. So this tween, the tween here between the fin and the feather, still needs some work. So I want you to add shape hints and try to fix that situation so it looks seamless. So that's it in a nutshell. It's pretty easy. Just remember those caveats. Really think simply. Keep the shapes in the same orientation. If you have an intricate image, the chances of those shape tweening very well are nil. Alright, good luck. Happy shape tweening.